All right, starting to record. Few things for today. So, at a couple of these problems, I have a thing. I put a little note next to it saying like, I'm going to show you more about the problem. So 13 and 14, I have more next to it. So, kind of put a little circle next to those because we're gonna add to those a little bit here today. So that's what we got. And this stuff, it can get goofy to wrap your head around, but I think with patience, you're going to get through it. And by asking questions, you're going to get through it nicely, okay? And let's see, what are today should be a good day. It's a Friday. Today I will be off campus. Some of you owe me some stuff, so you need to either come finish it or make it up with me, but I'm not going to be on campus today. Right after this class, we're going to the cadaver lab, playing with the carcasses. Junior? So it'll be here, don't worry. I'll keep it going. All right, can I move that down a little bit? Is there anyone still looking at those? Obviously, number 8. I started making a mistake. That's why it's scratched out. And then again, on 13 and 14, we're going to do more with those problems here in a little bit. (13 and 14), we'll do a little bit more with them. Things to note on 16, you do get 49, but then you have to take the 4.9. So it goes to a 10 to the negative 3. On 10, you have the same thing, 4.2, or 42, has changed to 4.2, so it becomes 10 to the 17. Just some little tricks with it. Some of you figured out how to start doing this on your calculator, which is fantastic. Please realize your calculator reads, times 10 to the whatever power as E. So like this answer on a calculator would be 6E13, capital E. That's just how the calculator reads scientific notation. So if you were to put E on a test, I get it. But if it was a multiple choice, I would probably have the answer as like 6 times 10 to the 13th, not 6E13. So please be able to distinguish between the two if that is the route you were choosing. May I move down? You're on 17? Oh, so I'm good to move past 16. Can I move down past 16? And then after number 20, my pen died, so I had to use a different pen. But 8 over 4 is 2.
I divided it by 2, not by.
Oh, so you got 4 over 2?
Yeah.
Oh, and then 4 over 2 reduces to 2 over 1, which is 2.
So
not a huge error. And in fact, with International Baccalaureate Math, which IB is offered at like Smoky Hill and Cherokee Trail and numerous other schools throughout the United States and throughout the world, they, on their test, don't recognize as reduced fraction as a non-reduced fraction is wrong. So,
really?
Yeah. So for some reason, other non-world length maths, they shame on you. I used to teach IB, so is that it? It goes up just to 28? Yeah. All right, sweet. Can I move off this? Or anyone still looking? Still looking?
How did you get 256? Did you times that? Did you times 24 by 3?
So what I did first is I reduced 24 over 15 to give it 8 over 5. And then this becomes 8 to the third. 8 to the third is 256.
Oh, okay.
Hey!
Okay.
Think pretty little?
I'm not sure if that's.
Steve is here. Yeah. Does he have to go with you?
No, he doesn't have to go with me.
Should you start trying yet?
The right room.
You're in the right room. Stevie! Good news, it's not bad. You guys can get a free lunch. So, did I finish explaining that? Do you need more to clarify? You good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, can I escape off here? No? And obviously number 27, we don't have to have 1x to the 5th, we can just have x to the 5th, so it's kind of your choice which way you want to do it. Oh, yeah. We good? In 3, in 2, in 1? Ray, you good? Alright. Why don't I work it out? I'll work it all the way down for you. Let me clear that and I'll work any of the problems you guys wanted. All right, so the first ones I wanted to hit were the ones that I had said more on. I said more on. All right, looks like number 13, problem number 13, you have this. Okay. A few ways to look at this. I want you to think about if I were to have, say like 3x over, I don't know, 20. That's the same thing as 3 over 20 times x. Do you agree? So we're going to kind of utilize that same property on here. So if I were to split it apart, I'd have 2 over 8. And then I have times, and I'm going to do this. Does that look the same? So I'm using the same property as like if I were to break 3 and x apart from each other, like here. That's the same thing I'm doing here. This is not an x, that's the time sign, so I'm changing the time sign to a dot. And then things I can do is I can realize that this is 1/4, and 1/4 is what as a decimal? 0.25. Now if I do tug-of-war with the tens, who wins, top or bottom? Oh, actually, I'm not doing tug-of-war. What's this going to do? It's going to move up. So how many, what does that then become? 10 to the 5th. So times 10 to the 5th times 10 to the 5th. Now, I'm going to move the decimal this way. So this has to become smaller. Okay? And this is how you need to make this work in your head. This means I'm going to move the decimal how many places? If I have that, move the decimal how many places? 5. Okay? So if that were the case on this 0.25, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? How many spaces would I move the decimal here? 4. If I move this decimal 4 places, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they the same answer? So that might be a way that you could double check it going, I don't remember if I add a 1 or subtract a 1 from our exponent. So that's the correct way to do. So the answer to number 13's true answer should be this. It was just a different way to look at it that I showed you yesterday, which was fine. It's just we didn't complete the entire problem. And then number 14 was the same way. So can I clear this? Okay, let's hit number 14. 14. Let's walk through it at a slower pace. So what did I start out doing? What happened with the last problem? Did I break it into two fractions? Did I just start eliminating stuff? What did I do? Yeah.
You did Tug-of-War with the whole numbers?
Okay, I can do I'm not going to do Tug-of-War here, but I am going to do this. 2 over 5 times 10 over 2, 10 to the 8. Is that right? So now I want to make this a decimal. What's 2 over 5 as a decimal? How much? 0.4. Okay, so 0.4. Or 0.4. Tug-of-War. Tug-of-War here. Who wins? Bottom. By 6. Now, I don't want to have, being that this is going to be like this, what do I have to do with this, mainly this, to bring it up here? We're doing opposite of what we did. Yeah? 2 over 5. It's 0.4. So how would I move, if I had 1 over 10 to the 6th, how would I move the 10 to the 6th up? What has to happen to the exponent? Negative. So in order to move this up, this has got to be the same thing as 10 to the negative 6th power. And I could have it over 1. Okay? So now I'm going to do this, times 10 to the negative 6. So this is definitely challenging. So this looks like a pretty good answer, but I want to move this here. So I'm going to get 0.4 times 10 to the negative. So as it sits right now, that means move the decimal left 6 spots. Oh, wait. 4.0 times 10. So now I move the decimal over 1. So here, that negative 6 would have meant move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I still have to move it over, but how many spots is it going to have to move over now? 7. And those are definitely tougher, weird to think about. Your brain is curdling type of problems. And it makes you normally feel that way. Okay? So other than number 13 and number 14, are there any others that you'd like to see? Yeah?
I'm just confused on why you had to flip the 10 to the 6th power to 10 to the negative 6th power.
Okay, because I wanted to get it out of being a denominator.
Okay.
I wanted...
Oh, so it's like if the bottom wins, you have to change it to negative almost?
Yeah. Because basically what's happening between these is you're going to go 2 minus 8, which is negative 6. That's the math that's taking place. I like the tug-of-war analogy because I understand it. But then sometimes you have that positive x amount on bottom, and it needs to be on top. Then you're reversing what you had done. Okay. Any others that you wanted to go through on here? Are we okay? A little different? You're going to hate me, but then you'll love me for a few minutes. All right. Let's see how we do. So the very first problem, Preston, can you talk me through that first problem?
Not really.
Preston, would you like to pick somebody other than me to talk through this problem?
You.
That's Ben. Go ahead.
You do tug-of-war.
Tug-of-war, who wins, top or bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom, by how many?
3.
Okay, so on the bottom I get x to the third. If everything got tugged down to the bottom, what has to be a placeholder?
It's 1 negative.
Be a what?
1.
A 1.
Yep.
Preston, is there anything about that process now that you're not quite sure about why it's taking place? Is there anything about what we just did that doesn't make sense now?
No.
Is there any notes you need to jot down on that?
Probably.
Okay, is there any notes that any of you have to jot down on that first problem so you know you're solid? I think the big place where people will make an error, God bless you, big place that people will make an error would be in the tug-of-war. If everything gets tugged down from the top, you have to have 1 as a placeholder. I would say a lot of students would make that problem. They'd be like, oh, tug-of-war, bottom wins, and they would give me an answer of x to the third. Okay? Because they're afraid that, oh, I can't add something to it. What you have to realize is in front of each of these is truly a 1 like that. And when the tug-of-war has taken place, being the bottom 1 by 3, that 1 placeholder is still there. Okay? Alrighty. Gage. Let's try and walk through the second problem up there. What do you think? We have a whole bunch of things being multiplied. It looks like I have some negative exponents, and then I do have a portion that is a power to a power, and that's the grouped one that's in parentheses. Do you agree with that so far? Okay. I feel, but you might feel differently, the best place to start on that problem is the grouped portion with the negative exponent. Does that sound okay? Okay, so Gage, talk to me. What am I going to do with that -2? Let's not worry about moving it down. What should we do? Multiply it. What do you mean multiply it? I think you're... Okay, so does it come here? Does it go anyplace else? There you go. Okay, so it goes both spots. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite this problem just like this. I'm going to pause there. Pause there. So, obviously, that first fraction was fine. We didn't do anything, we just rewrote it. The second fraction, I used the distributive property, the power to a power property, which was multiplication, in order to bring it in. Okay? Why am I putting the -2 in parentheses right here? Why is that in parentheses? You're kind of right. I think you're trying to say what I know you want to say. The main thing is the -2 is this exponent here, when it moved to here, is actually taking the entire -2. This is one of those you might goof up on. Like on your calculator, you go -2 squared on your calculator, and you're like, oh, sweet, it's -4. No, the -2 is being squared, so it's actually going to be positive, so we want to group it. Okay? Celine, I got all kinds of stuff up there. Can you tell me, does this negative right there mean that it's going to move down? So the question is, does that negative right there mean that the problem is going to move down? So we started learning about. I know that I picked on you because I know that there's going to be a heck of a lot more questions in class, and I know that if you got it wrong, there's at least 12 other people in here that are going to have it confused. So you learned about negative numbers in years past, correct? So -8. Okay. Did -8 in any of those classes ever become 1/8? No. So the negative base of a number is not going to influence it to move down. It's just saying it's a negative number. The negative exponent, though, could move something. Okay, so the exponent is the power that is being, up on top of it. Okay, so a few things. Will this move up or down, or stay the same? Stay the same. What about this? Down. What about this? 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 Okay, so I'm just going to do this first. This is this x, technically x to the first, and then this move down. You feel okay here? So where an error could take place is right here. This negative, I think, has got to come along for the ride. Okay? But with the knowledge that we know, because that is raised to a negative exponent, what does that want to do? Because that's raised to a negative exponent, what does that want to do? It wants to move down. Okay? What about this? Wants to move down? What about this? Everything moved down. What happens? Okay? Alright, so the error I want to make sure everyone's clear with is this negative here did not move it down here. This negative here followed it down. The reason it moved down is that was a negative 2 exponent. That's why it moved down. Does that make sense? And I know there's others of you that would make that error. Are you confused with that? Okay? So now, I think we're ready to start doing tug-of-war. So as far as my numeric values, my numbers, not my variables, my numbers, not the letters, what number is on top of this fraction? Huh? 5. This is the only number. It's 5 times 1, so I get 5 on top. Okay? I don't have any numeric values here other than 1. And then I have negative 2 squared. What is negative 2 squared? 4. Who said 4? Yeah, buddy. Why is it 4 and not negative 4? And that's why we have it in these parentheses right here. That says negative 2 squared. That means negative 2 times negative 2. It's positive 4. Big error takes place. So I do have a 4 on bottom there. Okay? I think I can start doing some tug-of-war. How many y's do I have on top, does it appear? I have 7. How many do I appear to have on bottom? 1. Tug-of-war is happening. Who wins? Top or bottom with the y's? Top by how many? 6. Y to the 6. All right. Let's pause for a minute. This gives me 7 y's. Y to the 7th. Still with me? Y to the 7th means y, 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 y. Right? And then I have this y here on bottom. And the reason tug-of-war is working is I'm multiplying these fractions together. So I'm going to do a tug-of-war here and with those. Top wins by 6 of them. Does that little method make sense? Okay? How many x's do I appear to have on top? There's none. How many are on bottom? 6. Casey, I got your hand up. Nope. I'm sorry, the x's?
Yeah.
What do you got?
No, you asked how many there were, and I'll raise my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sweet. This problem's done. Where do errors take place on these problems? A lot of times people want to go from this step to this step and be like, well, I did it in my head. Well, doing it in your head's a good idea, but this looks like kind of an important step. This looks like a kind of important step as well. So the doing in your head from the first to the last might not be the best. And there are a lot of you that really want to choose to say, I will do it in my head. And you know as well as I, a lot of times you're getting the problem wrong because you're forgetting stuff because there's a lot of busy stuff going on with these problems. So I think if you draw out the problem a little bit, you start realizing what things are going with, recognize the rules that are in place mathematically, because when you're trying to do it in your head, there's mathematical rules that you know that do exist. There's places that people would make an error. Here's a big spot right here where people would make an error. Okay, they would carry it down here, and they would say, oh, well, that's going to be -4. And there was one person that shouted out the right answer here. So that means there's like 26 of you that would have had the wrong answer. You would have given me a negative answer. Okay, and there's some of you that would have even moved that negative answer back up, thinking, oh, it's positive, and give me an answer of 20. Okay, so be cautious. The base of a number. You've learned about negative numbers for a long time, and that negative number had not become a denominator in previous classes, and it's not now. The negative exponent, though, says it's moving. Okay, third problem. I have a couple of portions to this problem. I kind of like distributing. I think here, 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 and here. That gives me 2 squared, which is 4, x squared, y squared, over x to the 6th. I'll stop there. That's just that first fraction. Can you make that work, what I just did? Is anyone struggling? Okay, because this is the kind of quiz that you're allowed to ask the questions on, going, wait, where did that come from? The quiz coming next week is not, sit with Mr. Stirrup and I work through it with you. Okay? So take a look there. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute that -2. Now, this -2 is going to goof all kinds of things up, but we're still going to distribute it. I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, here, and here. What did that -2 do to every one of those exponents? Made them all negative. They're all negative. They all want to switch. Now, I'm not going to switch in my head and combine. I know that this right here is coming along for the right on this next step. I didn't do any reducing. I'm just bringing it along. I realize this is moving up. These are all moving down. Look at that. There's no longer negative exponents. Okay? What does this become right here? 4. I have a 4 on top and I have a 4 on bottom. Still with me? They reduce. Those are gone. How many x's does it appear are on top right now? 8. How many appear to be on bottom? 8. 8 on top, 8 on bottom. Tug-of-war, who wins? Neither. We eliminated everybody. See ya. Tug-of-war with y's, who wins? Top or bottom? Neither. Everything canceled out. What must the answer be? 1. So if you reduce a fraction all the way down, the furthest it'll get to is 1. It doesn't go to 0. Anybody need any extra notes on that? Can I clear? All right. Problem number 4. I'm almost done. If you let me get through 4 and 5, I will not give you a book assignment. Deal? Okay. So I have some negative exponents. Okay. This is going to move down. This is going to move up. But I also think I could reduce here and here. What is that going to reduce to? What's 27 over 9? 3. The 3's on top. Okay. I know I have y to the 9th on top, z to the 3rd on top, and I'm going to move y to the 4th up. On bottom, I'm going to have x to the 5th, z, and x to the 3rd. This had moved, and this had moved. Okay? So I can maybe start combining. I know I have a 3 on top. How many y's does it appear I have on top? 13. Do I have any y's underneath? No. So just y to the 13. X's. Do I have any x's on top?
No.
How many appear to be on bottom? 8. And then Z's. How many Z's on top?
3.
On bottom?
1.
Tug-of-War?
2.
Who wins?
Top.
Top by how many? Done. Huh. And then number 5, forget about it. That's the toughest problem out there. Unless you're going to cry yourself to sleep on this one. I hope you don't. Reese.
Yo. Oh, I can do this.
I know you can.
So, you move the x and the negative 4 to the top to make it a positive 4. And positive 4x.
What happens to the 19?
Does it stay there?
Yeah! It stays. Done. Done. Guys and girls, this is recorded. I think the only thing that you should do, if you're kind of sitting there going, okay, I just need to make sure I follow this along one more time, I would say watch the video along with that this weekend. I think that would be appropriate. Got it?
Are we giving these to you?
Nope.